Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Courtside Soundoff podcast. I'm Josh Evanoff. He's Angel Ortega. A lot of stuff today, especially in the world of combat sports. A lot of boxing news, more than usual. A little bit of UFC news, mixed in with some NBA free agency. Well, post-free agency news. Before I get into that, I'm going to talk about Amazon. Because Amazon is an online store today. It has been for years. As a matter of fact, games, books, movies, the Fire Stick. It all is at Amazon.com. Buy the link in our podcast page or through the YouTube page. It helps support the podcast. If you like to support us, if you get something you want, buy the link. It helps us. You can help yourself as well. A little bit of UFC news. UFC 240 took place last week from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And the main event, Max Blessed Holloway retained his UFC featherweight title, defeated Frankie Edgar via unanimous decision, dominated Edgar, and I think this is one of Holloway's better, Holloway's performances all at featherweight. He's riding a 13-win streak at featherweight now. We all know how good he is. It wasn't as flashy as the Brian Ortega or the Jose Aldo wins or the Anthony Pettis win. But I'd argue it's almost as good as those performances because really you never see Frankie Edgar get dominated like that. Like you see, Jose Aldo beat him twice by unanimous decision, but those are both pretty close fights. First one was more close. First one was closer than the second. And then he got knocked out by Ortega. Those are really his only losses in the past couple of years. And then Holloway, there was no doubt who won this fight. I gave 4 or 5 rounds to Holloway, and I gave only round 1 to Edgar, and it was very, very close. I could have easily seen it being a clean sweep. To Holloway, he tagged him and hurt him in the 3rd and 4th rounds. Just a dominating performance of Max Holloway. The co-main event, I was very close to going Felicia Spencer for the upset pick. And for one round, it looked like I was going to regret that decision. The first round was one of my favorite rounds of the year so far. Cyborg was throwing everything in the kitchen sink at Felicia Spencer. Felicia was not going anywhere. She's standing. She was trading. She threw a Superman elbow, which I've never seen before. She threw a lot of these in the fight, just jumping and leading with the elbow. And she cut up Cyborg. A massive cut down the front of her face. The first time she's ever been cut in her MMA career. The cut was so bad, afterwards, you could see, blood everywhere. It was a really bad cut. It got stitched up between rounds. Rounds 2 and 3 were clearly Cyborg's. I would not have a problem if you gave Felicia round 1. I personally didn't do it, but she ended up winning. Cyborg did. Being a decision, 30-27, all 3 rounds. A couple other wins, Jeff Neal got a nice win, on my fight to watch. That was an excellent fight. Both guys got rocked. There was a double knockdown. Nico Price ended up being finished via TKO. Arguable stoppage, but whatever. Wasn't that bad. And then the fight of the night was actually a flyweight fight between Davison Figueiredo and Alexandra Pantoja. And that was a really, really fun one. If you saw it, flyweight's an extremely entertaining division, and it sucks that it almost got cut, but it's staying around. Angel, did you see any of UFC 240, and if so, what were your thoughts on the card?
I had the pleasure of watching the two main cards. Two main fights. The main event, co-main. Even with the very tired and lazy I still had the will to power through and watch the card half asleep. I managed to enjoy it for the 2 fights I did get to see. I got to see Chris Cyborg for the last time in the UFC. So that happened. She won. We were right, and then I got to see her kill Felicia for the rest of the fight. It was looking good for a moment, right? And then it didn't look so good for a moment, and I was just like, well, not surprised here. Followed by the main man, Max Holloway, who came in. It looks like he took 7 Adderalls during his fight. And you can go back. Anybody can go back and look this up. In the highlight in the fight, his concentration on Frankie was beyond me. Like, I've never seen a human being be more concentrated. The only thing that could have made him that concentrated was if he was on Adderall or some other drug. I don't know what it was. Maybe my man's just that concentrated, but the face, the eyes, like, just the way he was looking at this man. So, if you pause for anything, I mean, all I'm saying is, man, it was Adderall. You know, it wasn't it was no steroids. So, you know, I'd rather my man pause for Adderall than steroids. But yeah, it looked good in the first round. I was like, oh shit, Frankie's lit. I gave, like you said, first round to Frankie. And then like the rest of the rounds were Max, you know, and like you said, you could arguably give some here or there to, you know, maybe you could have gave all to Max, but I felt like Frankie had like a couple like good moments where it was like, oh shit, is he gonna do something? And then nothing came of it. And then he tried to go for that takedown, and then Max is like, fuck you, I have the best takedown defense, so this is not gonna happen ever. So, I mean, it was just well, I guess it wasn't utter domination, but it was a pretty dominant win for Max, and it was fun. So, I mean, I thought it was going to be a bit more exciting, more electric, but for what it was, I still enjoyed it. I mean, it was Max Holloway fighting. How can that ever disappoint me?
Yeah, super entertaining, and something I forgot to mention. This is kind of coming out of UFC 240. Chris Cyborg, Dana White announced in it was a long sit-down interview with Laura Sanko from Invicta, that he is out of the Chris Cyborg business. He's releasing her from her contract / not gonna re-sign her. They went back and forth a lot over fight week. And I guess she can immediately begin negotiations for another contract with Bellator or probably Bellator. They're the only one with an actual women's featherweight division, so whatever. I'm interested to see where the division goes from here. I'm interested to see where Nunes goes from here. Because I really hope, I saw they were signing women's featherweights as well. I saw they signed an opponent for Megan Anderson at UFC 243. Felicia Spencer's still around. There's still some girls like Kat Zingano last fought at 145, and she bulked up for that. So there's still some people that could fight at 145 if they do decide to keep the division around. We'll see what happens. Nunes says she wants to defend her 145 title next. I'm not really sure that's going to be the case anymore now that Cyborg's not there, but it's a wait and see type of thing. This week, not a super stat card. In fact, in my opinion, the weakest card of the year, but it has arguably one of my favorite main events of the year. UFC Newark, New Jersey, also known as UFC on ESPN, Covington versus Lawler. Colby Covington, former interim champion and never lost his title, going up against Robbie Lawler, former UFC welterweight champion, coming off of that amazing, I want to say war, but it was a fight that never really lasted as long as it should have against Ben Askren, earlier this year. Near finished him, probably should have. Before that, lost to RDA, and before that, he beat Donald Cerrone. Super inactive recently, Robbie Lawler has been, but this is his second fight this year. This fight came together really, really quickly. I don't think anybody expected it to happen. This fight was announced, I think, like a month out, maybe even less than that. Colby, he's like, I'm gonna wait for my title shot. Kamaru Usman still is coming off of surgery, cause, whenever you get the title now, you have to immediately get surgery and not be able to defend it. That's something that I've noticed, but whatever. If you need surgery, heal up, sure. But regardless, Colby Covington taking on, Robbie Lawler. Covington, 6-fight winning streak, I want to say. Dong Hyun Kim, Damian Maia, Rafael Dos Anjos, Brian Barberena. A couple of really good names on his record. And I've gone back and forth on this pick. I think that just how good Lawler looked against, Askren is a big thing in my mind. But the last time we saw Robbie Lawler against somebody who really, really brings the pressure, was RDA. And RDA dominated. Now, to be fair, Robbie Lawler was injured. He, tore his ACL and his MCL in that fight in, like, the third round. But still, the last time we saw somebody push the pressure on Robbie Lawler a bunch, that was Rafael Dos Anjos, and he just dominated him, winning by decision. This is 2 years ago. Less than 2 years ago, actually. And we saw how, I hate to use MMA math, but we saw how RDA did against Colby Covington. Colby out-cardioed RDA. I'm going to take Colby here. I don't think this is going to be a very entertaining fight. I think Robbie's going to have some moments of success. Robbie's obviously a great He's sprawl and brawl. He's a very old school guy in terms of he has great takedown defense, and he just likes to brawl. And Colby really is not, for all of his talk, he's terrible on the feet. Not terrible, but he's not very good on the feet at all. Damian Maia pieced him up in the first round, which that's kind of an accomplishment in its own right. But regardless, I'm going to take Colby here. Very close fight, though, in my mind. Co-main event, Jim Miller, Clay Guida. This fight should have happened 10 years ago. It's happening now. So in the elderweight co-main event, I'm going to take Clay Guida. Clay Guida coming off the win over BJ Penn. He's won 3 of his last 4. Clay Guida is having a bit of a late career renaissance. As of late, I've noticed. He's beat Eric Koch recently. Beat BJ Penn, Joe Lozon. Almost beat Brian Ortega at UFC 199. He was winning 4 minutes and 49 seconds of that fight. They got knocked out with a knee. He was winning like 14 minutes and 40 seconds, what I meant, of that fight, and got knocked out with a knee in the last 20 seconds. Other than that, he would have beaten Brian Ortega. I'm gonna take Guida here. He's still a guy who can fight at the top level. My fight to watch, there's actually 2 of them. I want to give a quick shout out to Joaquim Silva versus Nasrat Hakparast. Nasrat is a dude who looks like Kelvin Gastelum, and he could pass as his body double. Joaquim Silva, pretty decent guy at lightweight. That one's gonna be a really fun fight. That's just before Miller and Guida. Nice warm up. My fight to watch, Mickey Gall, just because I have no idea what to make of this kid. He's had almost all of his fights in the UFC. 2 of those were against Mike Jackson and CM Punk. The other 2 were against actual UFC competition and George Sullivan and Sage Northcutt. But then he's also lost to Randy Brown, and Diego Sanchez murdered him earlier this year. So there you go. Angel, do you have any thoughts on this card at all? Co-main?
All I know is my man Clay Guida is coming for war after the boy Jim Miller. I'm just, for what it's worth, it's probably not like the most exciting card, but I'm really excited for that fight. I don't give a shit what anybody says. I hope it's a great fight. I know they're gonna last at at least I know Clay's gonna last for a while. I hope Jim lasts for a while. But through pure logic and health, they probably shouldn't last that long, but they're gonna last for a while, which excites me. So I'm very excited about that. I'm rooting on the make Clay Guida, but I shouldn't be doing that. I haven't seen Jim fight in a while, and like the last Jim Miller fight I think I actually saw, off the top of my head, was here. Let me actually go look at it. It's been a minute. It was probably it's been a minute. Like, I'm trying to think. I think it was legitimately the Anthony Pettis one back in July 8th, like 2017. Like it's been a while since I've seen him fight.
Damn.
So yeah, it's been a little bit. So I mean, these guys probably aren't in contention for anything anytime soon, right? But it's still enjoyable for me to watch. This is gonna give it to Clay Guida just because he beat the GOAT BJ Penn not too long ago.
The GOAT.
The GOAT BJ Penn. Also.
Yeah.
One more thing. Mickey's probably gonna die tonight. Well, today, which is weird to say. So, I mean, but if he wins, though, that's cool. I think he's gonna die, though. Like, I think he's gonna die. Like, there's really no nice way to put it. I think he's probably gonna die. But if he wins, though, that's pretty cool. For what it's worth. I mean, outside of that, I can't do any other form of greed analysis.
Yeah, real quick to the Jim Miller fight. I'd say that, like, Jim Miller he's way past his prime, and I don't know if he should retire. I don't like to tell people to retire. I really don't. But,
Why don't you retire?
I wish I could. He's lost 5 of his last 7, and the only 2 wins were against guys that were, like, are definitely gonna be cut from the UFC. Jason Gonzalez and Alex White, if they're not already being cut from the UFC. So, whatever. I guess that kind of wraps up UFC talk for this week. Now to some NBA talk. Draymond Green, part of the Warriors dynasty. re-signed with the Warriors actually this morning. I believe that's when the news came out. That's when I saw the notification anyway. Max contract, what is it, 4 years? 3 or 4 years?
I mean, something like that, yeah. I had it pulled up here a second ago, but yes, it's something like that. He'll be making $20 million each year. Well, a little bit more than $20 million, but that's roughly what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I just now saw it. 4 years, $100 million.
Yeah, and it doesn't start this year. It starts next year.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. So I have him locked up for a while.
I'm a bit conflicted. On one hand, I think that he should stay. He should absolutely stay with the Warriors. I think that's where he has like the best chance to win. I think it makes the most sense for his career. I personally expected him to leave because I didn't think they'd be offering him as much money as he wanted, but yet he's getting that $100 million contract, in which case why would he not stay in Golden State? I'm seeing a lot of people, I saw Instagram and people commenting like, you know, who said the Warriors dynasty was done? I'm like, I really don't think this changes anything. Is it just me? I really feel like this kind of hurts them, if anything. Not because him as a player, but like, they're going to be paying $100 million to four, like, each guy is going to have like a $100 million contract, like 4 dudes.
Well, good luck filling that shit out.
They have no money. Like, they have, like, none.
Everybody
0.
has to be on a minimum, right? Like, everybody else has to be on a minimum.
Everybody has to be on a minimum. Every single person.
Tough.
Now, a lot of people are like, they're going to trade D'Angelo Russell, but even then we're like, we're not going to trade D'Angelo Russell. So, like, what are you guys going to do? I don't know. I like the move, but I don't know, man. It's tough. It's tough to give that much money to someone. Especially whenever I don't want to say like he had his moments last season, but I also feel like in the playoffs specifically, he was disappointing. Especially his shooting. His shooting has gone down.
I wouldn't have paid that much.
I wouldn't either. Like, he's still a great defender. But I feel like he's slightly gone down defensively, but it's not enough to be noticeable. But whenever it comes to his shooting, I'm not really sure how it reflects in his percentages. And I could be completely off, but it feels like his shooting has not been on point, especially his 3-point shooting.
But like you said, he's had his moments.
Yeah, he does have his moments, but, you know.
It is what it is. I still wouldn't pay that much. I'm just kidding. I would have thought about, like, if I would have been like, we have to fill out the roster. This team is legitimately good. We can fill out with good role players. People want to win. We'll just never be able to pay them what they want. That's what I would have done.
Yeah, personally, I would have. I don't know. If I don't know, it's a tough thing. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because he's extremely close to Clay, and he's extremely close to Steph. So, kind of a no-win situation. If you let him walk, they'll be pissed at you, and you'll be missing out on a great defensive player. However, on the other hand, you're kind of screwed with role players for the next 4 years.
If he did walk, though, where would he even go? Like, where would he even fit, Will? Who could even afford to pay him the amount he wants? It's the other thing.
Atlanta?
I mean, I guess, yeah, you're right.
Atlanta has enough money for anyone, and, you know, why not?
I guess you're right. Nah, but they're rebuilding. They got, like, a super nice... They got, like, one of the youngest, nice, like, young cores, if not the best. Either way, though, there's stuff for the future. I mean, no hate here.
Yeah. But Draymond Green was not the only NBA player to sign a big contract. This past week, CJ McCollum re-signed with the Blazers. 3 years, $100 million. CJ is probably the best player in the NBA right now who's not an All-Star and has never been an All-Star. Is that a crazy thing to say?
No, there's probably another guy or two out there.
Yeah, I've always had that opinion. It's gonna be tough because with him and Dame's contract, they're also gonna have that problem of getting better people, like as free agents and role players around them. But also, I mean, if you want to lock him and Dame up for the rest of their careers, that's not a bad bet.
Well, Dame said he's staying, so I mean, I guess you're pretty confident.
I mean, a lot of people say a lot of things. I feel like oh man, I hate bringing it up, but it's always the example I use of nowadays. I'd have never thought in a million years Russell Westbrook would ever leave OKC after the Durant thing. But
especially, it wasn't even after that. It was just the contract, because they had him locked up the contract. I was like, well,
we had him locked up for the next 4 or 5 years.
And I thought you guys were gonna have him until the end of his career. I thought he was gonna fucking retire.
I guess not. Shit happens. It is what it is. It's happened. You'll have to live with it.
Yeah, but anyways, so they're locking him and Dame up. I guess I'm assuming the plan would be for the rest of their careers. I could see that CJ leaving. I don't really see Dame leaving, just because Dame's he's a competitor, and I've always seen that in him. As much as he pissed me off during the playoffs, because he absolutely dominated us.
Dude, they have Hassan Whiteside now. Like, they're set.
Oh, all NBA Hassan Whiteside.
Could have been at one point in time.
All defense.
He's been pretty bad as of lately, but you know, it is for what it's worth. They have Hassan Whiteside now. At least they have the name.
He's been pretty bad lately. We'll see if he fits well in their system, but I don't know. I like the signing in terms of its contract length. I think 3 years isn't that bad. I think isn't CJ only? I don't want to say how. Like, I think he's 27.
That's probably right. That's about right.
That's not bad. His contract will be up when he's 31. Because it starts after this year or whatever. That's not bad at all. I do like the contract length more than I like the Draymond contract length. You're paying CJ more per season, but also it'll be done quicker. So if Dame's in the twilight of his career, if Dame's around 30, whenever CJ's contract ends up, you can let him go or re-sign him, just depending on how things go, and sign some better people.
I mean, let me tell you this. A lot of the top teams on top, like right now, I think are so fucked in the future just because of how they've locked themselves down. At least personally, in my opinion. Like, in a couple years from now, there's no way the Warriors are going to have an easy time rebuilding. Same with the Rockets. Same with honestly, probably the Lakers are probably going to have, those very long bad years for a while. At least I think that. And then, who else? There's another probably the Sixers. Whenever the Sixers come to it, like once Embiid dies, or someone leaves, or the whole team leaves, they're like, I do really think those teams are going to struggle to rebuild a lot, like just because of the amount of money that's been given out, and kind of like how long they've entrusted to people. And the other thing is, it's like even if they leave, it's like. Unless you're like super competing, a lot of teams are not going to want to take risks because it's just like it's a lot of money that's being given up and locked down. At least I feel that way because I wouldn't want to, like, personally as a GM, want to get someone who's in their 30s making X amount of money. Like, I wouldn't want, like, if I was any GM, I would not want the Chris Paul contract unless unless it was like the Lakers situation, you know, and we had the money and we had this, like, the space for it, where we had that experienced player in LeBron, but then we had that young guy in AD and a couple decent, like, role players, and then to fill it in, put the icing on the cake, they have CP3.
Yeah, I think a lot of teams in the future, with how they're doing things, are going to get screwed. You bring the Lakers, probably. The Lakers are definitely screwed in the future. Like, the Rockets, 100%. Clippers, Jesus Christ. If Paul, there's a decent chance that in 2 to 3 years, the Clippers are rebuilding. So I don't think people realize this. Didn't Kawhi sign for 2 years, 3 years? He didn't sign for that long. He signed a 4 or 5 year contract. Same thing for Paul George. Paul George has 3 years left.
I don't think they'll leave, though. You know what I mean? I think a lot of it will be.
It depends on if they win.
Well, here, listen to this. If they win, and then also if the team gets along, personalities, coaching, stuff like that, right? There's a bit of. But it seems like everybody gets along. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. That's my favorite for next year. That's the best team in the NBA right now. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
I mean, I completely disagree, but.
Who do you think the favorite is?
Honestly, my favorite is the Lakers.
You think the Lakers?
I do. Well, okay. My reasoning is really nothing more than I believe.
You believe in LeBron?
Yes, but that's not what I was gonna say.
But that's what you were thinking, though.
No, okay. Well, I do believe in LeBron, but I was gonna say, as a person who has seen Paul George play very intensely the last few seasons, two things: he's gonna get injured, he's not gonna show up in the playoffs. You know what? Let's make it three things, and he's not gonna play as well as you 100% expect him to be. He's very much what he does. And I feel like now that he's going to be in the spotlight up in LA, Paul George has gotten away with a lot of things from media perspectives because he's been in small town markets. That's not going to happen anymore because he's up in LA and he's going to be sharing a freaking stadium with LeBron James. Paul George and Kawhi are going to be the forefront of that team in terms of the media, and I think he's going to feel way more pressure on him than he ever has.
To be honest,
forget, Paul George threw his teammates under the bus in Indiana. He's being worshipped now after saying it was a mutual deal to get out of OKC after one season, after throwing a literal party to announce that he was going to stay. He's going to have to deal with that in LA, and he's going to get lambasted by the media the second he gets injured or the second that he underperforms. It's one thing to go 2 for 16 against in an elimination game against Utah as an Oklahoma City Thunder player. It's another to go 2 for 16 against the Lakers in the playoffs as a team in LA.
To be honest, though, like I was gonna say, the two guys that would be talking to me, Kawhi and Paul, I do think those are probably the worst guys, the worst personalities you can get. First of all, because they're not crazy personalities. You know, they're not the most I wouldn't say it's not that they're well spoken, but they're just they're not the most Kawhi. You know how Kawhi is, right? You know, quiet, not too much to say. And but then you also get Paul that will probably be very not media friendly, but team media friendly, where he'll say what he has to say and that's it. You know?
Yeah.
And then you have your outspoken people like Pat Beverly, but those are your main guys, you know? So, media-wise, when it comes to dealing with the media, I don't think it's too weird. Dealing with it and shit that we won't see, that other level of shit, that's a different story. We'll have to see. I still pick the Clippers as my favorite. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. That team is fucking insanely good. If I had to buy a franchise right now, or I guess a whole team, I wouldn't say a franchise, but if someone put those two rosters in front of me, I'd probably choose that roster personally.
Honestly, I think a lot of it also depends on what you look for in a player. In player and coaching, I 100% think that the Clippers are going to be better coached. I like a lot of their team.
All I'm saying is, when it's Game 5 and it's PJ Tucker on Kawhi, I don't have faith in PJ Tucker. I'm using that as an example.
I don't know. I just think, a couple things. If Boogie heals up, he rushed back from injury, got injured again, and, he had a mixed finals, so I'm just kind of throwing it out. I know AD and LeBron are going to be amazing together. That's something I'm really looking forward to see. If DeMarcus can be even 75% of what he was prior to injury, I think that the Lakers are going to win the NBA Finals. I think they're going to win it all. I mean, there's some teams. I feel like Golden State's not getting enough respect. I think that we're just I feel like everybody's talking about the two LA teams, which was, expected.
Oh, dude.
Golden State deserves a lot of respect,
It does. It's not even that. It's just there's potential for upset. As crazy as that sounds, there's potential for upset in my opinion.
It's also it's hard for me to.
Just Game 7 upset, more like that.
Yeah, it's hard for me to say this, but man, I could really see the Rockets winning it all too.
Fuck out of here.
I really could, man. I really could.
You see a world where that happens? I don't.
I see a world where it happens. I think some stuff is gonna have to happen. I think if the Lakers I don't see them beating the Lakers just because of firepower, but I could see them. Actually, let me rephrase that. I don't think they could beat the Clippers due to how the teams match up. I could see them beating the Lakers. For example, if the Clippers got bounced or something, and then it's Lakers and the Rockets in the Western Conference Finals, I might take the Rockets.
Well,
Just
dude,
because
no.
in terms of guards, there's nobody that can guard Harden or Westbrook on that team.
Well, dude, it's crazy. It's crazy to think. Like, there's a team that was in the playoffs this year that will not be in the playoffs this year, 100%.
Well, it's the Thunder.
Well, it's the Thunder. But even then, besides that, there's a possibility that one of these young teams could just sneak through. Like, in the Western Conference, dude, your position, like, every game legitimately matters, even if you're a shitty team. Like, it's just because it's the record's gonna be close. There's gonna be like every game matters. Like it's gonna be an intense one. I don't know, like it's gonna come down to wire for sure. After December, once we get into January, February, that's when we'll see like the more solidified standings. Honestly, I think post All-Star, that's when we'll know 100% like kind of where everybody's at. Just because there will be those teams that maybe there'll be that one team that sneaks through. Maybe there'll be a team that didn't get the seeding in media. Maybe it gets down. Maybe we'll get, Clippers versus Lakers first game into the playoffs, Some crazy shit like that.
I can actually see that happening, especially if, like I said, I think Paul George is probably going to get hurt, and I feel like the Clippers might possibly underperform. I think whenever it comes playoff time, I think the Clippers are going to show up. But during the regular season, I could see them probably coasting. And then the Lakers, LeBron teams always coast. So I could see them matching up in like a 3v6 situation or a 4v5.
Well, the thing is, it's going to be, because I'm telling you, you can't. I don't think you'll be able to coast this season just because of like how certain teams are, built now. Just think about it. The Kings weren't that far away from the playoff spot.
That's actually true. The Kings. Are good.
And that was before Harrison Barnes got there. Then Harrison Barnes got there to fill in the hole they had. I'm not saying Harrison Barnes is like some amazing player that will change everything, but that was a position they were lacking in, and then he came in and helped them a little bit, won a couple more games. What would have happened if Harrison Barnes was there earlier? Maybe 1-2 more games, nothing crazy, right? But I'm just saying. And then now, the Mavericks. They're in an interesting spot, dude. Like, legitimately, Luka is one of those guys you probably could have inserted into he could probably have been the equivalent of a Pascal on a team on this side. You know what I mean? Like, young guy already providing. Granted, he's handling the ball. It's different, right? But now he has Porzingis and a couple other good pieces around him. So, it's interesting there.
Angel, don't take this the wrong way, but I think that you can make a reasonable argument for every team making the playoffs in the West except for the Grizzlies, the Suns, and the Timberwolves.
Well, that makes all logical sense.
Change my mind. You could I can think you can make an argument for 12 teams making the playoffs. Like the Thunder aren't going to make it, but you can make a decent argument for it.
Well, all I'm saying is going to be a war. Like it's not going to be easy for them.
100%. And even like the Timberwolves, like if Andrew Wiggins starts playing with a player that he has a contract of, who knows? Maybe they could be in consideration. You know what I mean?
I don't care what anybody says. I do legitimately believe in Andrew Wiggins. He's just hella fucking inconsistent. Andrew Wiggins has all the tools to be a good player. It's just if he was a consistent player. I've seen that man hit 2 game winners against the Phoenix Suns live, and I still have faith in him.
I've seen him hit. Dude, he plays like an all-star anytime he plays the Thunder. It's ridiculous.
That's what I'm telling you.
It is ridiculous. He scored, He's so good against the Thunder, it's not even fair. But, he's really coasted after he got his massive contract. In 2016, 2017, that year, he put up, I think he put up, 24, 25 points a game.
I think it's just his personality, though, dude. I mean, he did the same shit at KU after he knew he was going to the NBA, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Quit showing up to class,
Somebody lights a fire under his ass, he could be really, really good. But, the West as a whole, it's just ridiculous. It's so good.
Well, I'm telling you, the records are to be 1-2 game differences, and even the teams that aren't good, even at the bottom, are going to have those closer records because they've all improved. For the most part, all of them improved. The Grizzlies have improved, Suns have improved, Timberwolves have improved. All those teams that were at the bottom improved. Now, granted, are they much better than what they were before? Probably not. That's another, 3-5 games, maybe 2 games that just make the difference. I mean, we saw, not to level my Suns, but we saw what they took that game from the Lakers. It's just that, maybe they could have made the playoffs if they didn't take that one game, And that's with LeBron. LeBron was playing on that floor. They had to get a team out there, So it just goes to show, when the time comes, shit can happen. Their hearts will be broken. Men will cry on that, they will cry on the court.
I don't wanna shit on the East more than everyone else already does, but it's just kind of it's
day.
incredible look at the West, and then just like I'm looking at the Wikipedia page right now of like all the teams by conference and kind of like it's meshed up together in a nice graphic or whatever, and like you look over to the East and it's like that's sad. Like it's just in comparison, like the East has a lot of good teams, but they're good teams. The West has amazing teams, and you can make multiple arguments for multiple teams of winning it all. That's incredible. The West is historically good right now.
Dude, honestly, if that Clippers team didn't exist, or didn't have that team, and then like if LeBron had like shittier role players, I probably have faith in the Sixers. I'm not even gonna lie.
Dude, I've had the faith in the Sixers for the past couple seasons. Every single time
I have
didn't
faith
have
in them a
faith
little
in
bit
last.
now.
I didn't have faith in them last.
I have a little faith now. A little.
The season before that, I picked them to go to the finals.
Oh yeah, not too long ago, so did I.
I picked them to go to the finals the year that the East really, really sucked, and then they completely shit the bed against Boston.
Now, instead, Boston shut the bed this year.
Boston shit the bed this year. Who out of the East will shit the bed next year? I'm gonna guess the Celtics again. Then again, I don't think there's really high expectations. But regardless, like in the East, it's just like it's crazy to look. Because the West, you got like the Warriors, the Rockets, the Clippers, the Lakers, all reasonable title contenders. I feel like those four are kind of the main picks. And then you have guys like the Blazers, the Nuggets, obviously, the Mavericks, the Jazz.
Dude, the Nuggets
some
are
outside
upset.
shots.
The Nuggets will be. I think if there was a team in the world that like out of all the teams that could upset, I think the Nuggets would be it.
I've never gotten on the Nuggets train.
I've been on the Nuggets train since like our sophomore year of high school. You know this.
That's true.
And I have faith that it's possible. Maybe I'm saying it's possible. I'm not saying it will happen, but I'm saying like if any team were to do it, I think it'd be them. I don't think it'll be the Blazers. I don't think it'll be the Jazz. I think the Jazz are cool. I'd love to see the Jazz win. I think it'd be amazing. I love that team. It's so fun to watch. I love the roster. I love the history of that team. I love some of the players. Shout out to my man Andre Kirilenko. But it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen. I've never been on the Nuggets train. I really haven't. Even whenever they were dominating last year, got to the second seed, almost the first seed, I was like, they're gonna get destroyed, whoever they face. Like, if it's the Warriors, they're gonna get destroyed. In hindsight, I think if they face the Warriors, they have a pretty damn good shot, especially last year with everybody injured. I think they definitely put up a better fight than the Blazers. And this year they improved, They got Jeremy Grant, who is a really, really good young guy. I still don't know why the Thunder traded him amidst the rebuild. Very strange to me.
They were blindsided. They didn't know, man. Come on.
He's 25. He's been steadily improving the entire time. He started 77 games last year. Majorly improved. And then you just traded him for one first-round pick. That is the most stupid move. Like, every other Thunder move I can understand, that one's just unconscionable. Like, it's ridiculous. Regardless, Nuggets improved. They got Bol, Jeremy Grant, Jokic, obviously, Millsap, Jamal Murray. They've improved. I just don't think it'll be enough to get close to a title.
We will see. We'll see. The thing is, this team is like I have faith in them for like a number of reasons. One, I fucking hate Jamal Murray. I fucking hate him. I really do. I fucking hate Jamal Murray. And the only reason I think the only reason is because it's just like he'll do good against players that I like watching or against teams I like watching, and it's just like, why the fuck are you doing good now? You're so fucking shit. Like it's because I actually dislike him as a player. I mean, he's probably a legitimately good player. Like I'm not trying to hate on him, but it's like, god damn it, why are you so fucking good in these moments? And then why are you such fucking ass in other moments? But and then. Probably on that team, I legitimately like Jokic. And they legitimately have, like, good role players on their wings. And, like, guard-wise, they're pretty good. Like, not even gonna lie. And, like, Michael Porter Jr. still hasn't played in the NBA game. People forget this man was the number one ranked high school player going to college. Got hurt in college. Never got to see him in college. We never knew how good he was. It looked like he was going to be good in college. I didn't get to see him. We got, like, a good, maybe, like, got to play, like, one good, like, game. And even then, we didn't get to see the best version of him. Now, he's in the NBA. We don't know what he is. Maybe he is the best player coming out of that draft class. We'll have to see. I still have faith in him. I like his game. He looked fun. I saw his little high school clips. He was saucy. He was cool.
He was saucy.
That's, like, legitimately, like, he could be that other guy on that team who's just a fucking god. Maybe he's that Pascal for that team. The reason I say Pascal is just because Pascal's a really young guy, and he joined the NBA, 3 years ago now, maybe 4 years ago now. So, and look at what happened to him. Not too long ago. Just on a decent team, doing pretty good, making the playoffs, and now this man has a fucking ring. So shit can happen.
Big part of that ring, too.
Yeah. He legitimately was one of the best guys, maybe second or third best guy on that team when they won.
I think all around best player, you can make a damn good argument that he was the second best player on that team.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Like, not in the finals overall. I think you can argue that, like, Van Fleet was arguably, like, the most clutch player of that finals, which is crazy to say.
Undrafted, can you imagine?
Like, honestly, at times I thought Van Fleet was going to win the MVP, but, whatever.
Shit happens, right?
I love my man Van Fleet.
Shout out to that guy.
Shout out to that guy. Do you got anything else to talk about in terms of NBA before we move on to boxing?
Nuggets are a sleeper. You are sleeping on my Nuggets. Blazers about to surprise people with what they got. Sixers about to die, probably, in secret. But I still have faith in them.
My bold prediction is Raptors make finals again.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
I mean, I could see it happen. I could see, like, in a world where, like, the Sixers get upset by somebody else, and then it's like...
They re-signed Jeremy, is that why? They re-signed Jeremy Lin, and they...
Maybe, and then it's like Raptors and Bucks in, like, the conference finals. I could see the Raptors pulling it off.
Will we get, like, Lin Sanity 2.0 in that moment?
Well, Jeremy Lin's not signed to anybody, and apparently he doesn't think anybody wants him, so...
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, they re-signed him.
Yeah, I could... It's sad. Apparently, I saw people, like, Raptors fans, saying that, like, he wasn't very good for them, like, in the regular season. That's why he didn't play in the playoffs, and I was like, oh, I didn't really know that.
He had, like, a couple decent games. He didn't have the greatest games. But I didn't think he was, like, complete and utter fucking trash, at least personally. Personally, yeah. I didn't feel that way. But everybody feels different about their play. I'll say this. If you're not a fan of the team, the way you view certain players is definitely not the same if you're not a fan of that team.
Yeah.
Because there'll be people who just, like, love a player to the end of time, Like, they just, or they enjoy the player. They're like, he's not that bad. Like, if you actually watch, and it's true. It's coming from, a person who watches a smaller market team, and, like, I read articles about my team, and it's just like, this is just fucking false, man. Are you even watching the games? Like, I don't know if it's ever happened to you with the Thunder game, but or a Thunder player who's young, and you're like, are you even watching the fucking Thunder play, dude? Like, this man is actually, like, not even that bad, or is doing, or provides different stuff than what you're saying here. At least personally, I've like, as a fan of my team, I've seen articles that are just like, were you even fucking trying when you were writing this?
Yeah, I've seen that a lot. I've seen that in terms of, like, there was a lot of Russell Westbrook slander going around during his MVP season that I saw specifically.
Well, media will be media. It is what it is. I guess we're part of it too, so I guess we're at fault. But not us directly. Right?
Yeah, something like that. Ready to move to the Canelo news?
I guess so.
Other boxing news? Okay. We got some, a bit of boxing news, just quick little bits, 3 of them. Canelo Alvarez was stripped by the IBF of his middleweight title, Thursday night. He was stripped due to failed negotiations between his camp and Sergey Derevchenko. I think I pronounced that wrong. I'll go with it.
You tried.
Because they couldn't come to terms, and apparently Canelo and his team cannot come to terms with anyone. Oscar De La Hoya released a big announcement. He was apparently super pissed off. Listen, Canelo's in a really weird spot right now, and I have no idea what's next for him. Like, I was really hyped for the Sergey fight. I was completely I was on board with the Kovalev fight. Like, 100%. And now that's not gonna happen, and the Derevchenko thing fell through, and a lot of stuff was like, he got stripped of the IBF. There's a lot of stuff going on with Canelo right now, and I'm not sure what's next for him.
I mean, there's 2 guys who were waiting for him, but, shit's not going down, apparently.
I guess he just can't really come to terms with anybody. Him and Oscar De La Hoya. But as a result, he was stripped by the IBF, so.
It is what it is.
There's your news. In other news that isn't that significant, but is still news. Tyson Fury fighting Otto Wallin for his next fight on ESPN Plus. Otto Wallin is 20-0, I believe. I believe he's the 48th ranked boxer in the world. Swede, 13 knockouts to his record. Doesn't have a Wikipedia page.
So that's when you're not big right there.
That's how you know it's quality. Quality opposition is when they do not have a Wikipedia page. I don't care. This is happening. It's going down in September in Las Vegas. Another Vegas fight for Tyson Fury. This is a complete and utter waste of time. A lot of people I still see a lot of people give Deontay Wilder crap for he's ducking him, and I'm like, he's ducking Fury. He doesn't want the rematch.
Fucking fight set. They have fucking fight set.
They do. They do. That's true. And also, I'm not trying to pick on Tyson Fury. I understand what his management is doing. It's a decent plan. Get more eyes on him. Get some quick money. Get some easy fights. That's not a bad thing. However, Deontay Wilder is taking on some really tough opponents. Not Dominic Breazeale is a mixed bag, so I'll give you that one.
He's an outright guy, though.
But he's significantly better than Tom Schwarz. And also, he's fighting Luis Ortiz before Tyson Fury again. And Luis Ortiz, as we all know, is a super legitimate, boxer, former interim champion, top 5 guy. So, I wish Tyson Fury was fighting better people. I really do. Since he's come back, ever since his win over Klitschko, Wilder is the only real opponent he's faced, and that's incredibly saddening, Which I get, sort of. I get the first 2, Sefer, Francesco Pieta. Those are both cruiserweights, and Fury was weighing close to 400 pounds at the time. That's exaggeration. So more like 350. And then he got down to 300, and then he weighed 265 for Wilder. But regardless, there's no excuse now to be fighting those warm-up fights. Tom Schwarz is not even top 55. Otto Wallin's just barely in the top 50. Please face somebody better.
Top 25. Minimum.
Yeah, I'd prefer that, but also his plan is to just get some easy wins, get some easy money, and then build up to get some knockouts on his record to lead up to the Wilder fight, to get some more press behind him and stuff like that. It's not a bad idea.
That's set though now, right?
That is set for January of next year, I believe.
It's a January fight. It's earlier it's sometime the start of the year though, for sure. I know that.
Yeah, it's at some point. I can guarantee you, it is at some point.
Either way, though, when it comes to those top 4 guys in boxing, they're all. 2 of them. Well, I guess you should say 3, right? Are fighting good competition, right? 2 of them each other. 1 of them a really good opponent.
Yeah.
So it's not looking too bad. And then the 4th will fight the other soon. So we're in for a treat. It's near the end of the year, but we're in for a treat. It's maybe it's not as soon as we wanted it. We complained about how certain people weren't fighting each other, but then we had certain situations come up and mix certain things up and change certain things in the world of boxing, which is completely fine. But shit happens.
Yeah, shit happens. I don't know. Just kind of disappointing. But anyways, other boxing news, staying in the heavyweight division, Andy Ruiz went on JRE, the Joe Rogan Experience, and also he did confirm that,
On Jerry Springer.
He confirmed on Jerry Springer. No, he confirmed on Joe Rogan Experience that the rematch will not be taking place in the UK. He didn't just say we're aiming for it to not take place in the UK. He said it's not taking place in the UK. I think it's kind of significant. He's just coming out outright and saying it. That's a big deal to me personally. I'm very, very happy about that. I don't want it to be in the UK. The UK is extremely corrupt in terms of boxing, and I've always had that opinion. And then, I've seen UK fans like, oh, it happens in the US too, and I'm like, yeah, but for certain fighters, more or less. It's not the entire country as a whole is screwing over everybody that comes into it. Like, Canelo gets bad decisions in the US. Canelo gets bad decisions everywhere, but, he only fights in the US, so whatever. Deontay Wilder probably should have lost to Tyson Fury. Whatever. Regardless, the UK has a pattern of this, and also with the Dillian White stuff coming out, it just further proves it, so I 100% stand beside Andy Ruiz, and I guess he said to Joe Rogan, like, oh yeah, I'll get you tickets for the fight, which a lot of people means to them means that the fight's going to be in California because that's where Joe lives, and it makes a lot of sense. You can probably put it in a nice stadium down there, where the Chargers play or something like that. What's that called? It's like StubHub Center, something like that. Staples Center, there's big venues in California. Makes a lot of sense if they don't want to go to Vegas. Vegas would be a big place for them to do the fight too. I'm happy it's just not happening in the UK.
Either way, though, he's the champ, so I feel like he does deserve at least the location of it.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be getting paid less than Joshua, and he's still going to have that issue.
But the man can't complain either. I mean, you got a pretty good payday, and I mean, all the sponsorships, money coming in from other shit. I mean, we're still waiting on that Snickers deal. I mean, shit's going down, man. So.
Yeah.
He's not doing that bad for himself. Even maybe not too much money from the fight, but money from outside, my man's not doing that bad. Also, it's to be an amazing fucking fight, so I'm excited. I'm excited to see what changes, or if nothing changes. So,
yeah.
It's gonna be good. Was Joshua the false prophet after all? We will see. Hey man, that's all I'm saying. But when someone said though, they're like, man, if you really think about it, it's kind of sad for boxing, because Joshua was actually really good for boxing. I mean, his career's not done after this, even though it looks pretty bad, after all the hype. But it is what it is. Stuff happens. Either way, it's be a good-ass fucking boxing match.
Yeah, I'm actually interested to see where Anthony Joshua's career goes if he loses.
If he does lose, he's just got to rebuild.
He's got to rebuild, but, where do you go from there? Let's say he gets knocked out again.
That's pretty bad, because then he wouldn't have beat Wilder, at least in my opinion.
Well, here's the thing. I think the Wilder fight has too much money behind it to where that's going to happen regardless. Regardless of what happens with Tyson Fury in the future, whatever happens with Luis Ortiz, whatever happens with Andy Ruiz, I think that those two are going to fight at some point. There's way too much money behind it.
I don't give a shit what anybody says. The top two guys are fucking Fury and Wilder at this point.
Oh no, I've always had that opinion. I've always thought Joshua was the worst of the three, and it's not even because of his skill set. A lot of it has to do with his chin.
Well, I never thought he was out of all of them, I'll tell you this. For what it's worth, Wilder isn't the greatest boxer, you know what I'm saying? He's not gonna outbox this guy ever, you know what I mean? Probably. I think when it comes to it, he probably won't. At least that's how I feel, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not because he's not capable of it, I just don't think he'll ever do it. I think that'll be his downfall eventually, for sure. Or as some people would say it already was, but, it is what it is. We will see what has to change. Maybe he's just gonna knock everybody the fuck out, which is fucking awesome too, but, I mean, maybe that's not an option forever.
I understand a lot of people don't like him, but I love having Deontay Wilder around.
I fucking love the guy too, dude. Dude, I knew of Deontay. I didn't keep up boxing way back when, but probably around the time. Fuck, this is probably terrible. Whenever Call of Duty Ghosts came out. 2013. That's when I knew of Deontay Wilder. Didn't keep up with boxing. I just knew that he was fucking shit up. He's knocking everybody the fuck out. crazy fucking knockout percentage. I'm pretty sure it was 100 still at the time. And it was looking cool, and I was like, interesting. Didn't bother looking anything up. Obviously, years later now, man's established. I keep up with boxing more now. I'm aware of the man. I know of his presence, and look at what's happened. So it's cool. It is. So.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've always liked Wilder. I'm just glad he's around. I'm glad that we have a guy that Tyson-esque is not really something that how can I say it?
No one in the world right now could ever be that insane. But I know what you mean.
Yeah, the persona of this big scary dude who's jacked, knocks out people in a minute. I love having that in boxing. I think that's awesome to have.
But yet the man isn't loved by all the Americans in the world for some reason.
Well, people I think it's kind of a weird thing now to where on the internet it's popular to hate everything, so nobody will ever be unanimously loved. But I think
it's not even that. It's not even that. But it's like guys, we have the guy that we can get behind and follow, and is fucking murdering everybody, but yet we decide not to love him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He could be, he could be equivalent. He could not exactly the same, but what I'm saying in the sense of a figure, he could be what Tyson was now. In terms of a figure, you know what I mean? Maybe not that big of an icon to that extent, right? But maybe at some point in time. What I'm saying is he could at least receive that amount of love.
Yeah.
Bring back, get people behind and follow boxing more. Because, for what it is, it's made its comeback, but it's definitely not at where it used to be.
Yeah, in the U.S. specifically, it's having a bit of a resurgence. But for a while there, and I loved Floyd being around. I kind of call Floyd Mayweather syndrome of people would get hyped for a Floyd fight, and it would be the only fight they'd buy all year, and it'd suck, and they'd be like, God, boxing sucks. I don't wanna watch boxing again.
But he's the GOAT, man. He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT, Josh.
No, he's not.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that too. But
I've never thought he's even close to the GOAT. Just my own opinion.
I don't even know how you consider a GOAT. There's just a lot of boxers I love. I think. Let me tell you this. I think I've had I might have mentioned this previously on the podcast. I know I've definitely had this conversation outside of the podcast with a family member. I think I had it with my dad, where it was. I had it with a friend. It was about UFC. And at the time it was UFC, but I used boxing as an example. I was like, it's very hard to call someone the GOAT because there's weight classes.
Yeah.
And even then, it's and then since people come up and down and shit like that, and they're not in a weight class for that long. They come in there, have that one fight, whatever, right? I'm like, it's too hard to say who the GOAT is. I think you can say who are the best guys of all time, but I was like, GOAT wise, that's pretty hard. Because I can't make, I can't make Manny. I probably couldn't make Manny fight. I tried to use a really good example here. I couldn't make Manny fight. I couldn't make Manny fight like a heavyweight. I would have used a specific example, but I was gonna keep it broad. I couldn't make Manny fight, a fucking heavyweight. There's no way I could ever set up Manny versus fucking I'll just say Tyson, right? There's no way I could ever make Mike Tyson fight, Manny. There's just no world. Even if they were the same age, and living during the same era, and both had, the same extent of success, there was no way I could ever set up that fight. It's fucking impossible.
Not with that attitude.
Pride existed, right? But,
Pride did exist. Pride never died, though.
But, yeah, I couldn't make, at this point in time, I couldn't. I guess you could. Actually, I'm not gonna use that as an example because then I'm gonna get shit on. But it's just because you can't set up certain fights against certain people because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense. That's why. There's a lot of great boxers, there's a lot of great fighters, but I could never name the GOAT. There's just so many great people. I think it's cooler like that though, for sure.
Yeah. I have my opinion of who the greatest of all time is. For me, a lot of it has to do with things such as resume, has to do with your overall body of work, just how good you look, your athleticism, your longevity, stuff like that. And that's how I judge it, although I completely get your argument of weight classes being an issue. I've always had the viewpoint of Roy Jones Jr. was the greatest boxer of all time. But a lot of people disagree with me because his downfall, and he stayed around for a long time. People rank Floyd highly because he left whenever he should have, undefeated, stuff like that. People think Muhammad Ali is the greatest of all time because they don't know any better, and they're sure that he's the greatest of all time.
Not to hit Ali though. Ali did have a fucking amazing career though.
No, he's one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, though. But the reason why he's called the greatest of all time was because of his social impact.
True. On top of that, oh, he had both though. He had did good in boxing, did good out of boxing too.
Yeah, fair enough.
He had an impact on both ends. Like many people have. A lot of people give back to the community.
Yeah, but I feel like, I don't know, I've always had my opinion of who the greatest of all time is. Roy Jones Jr. will never change.
That goes for any sport though. Like, there's been a lot of issues. Like, it's like, who do you call the guy? It's like, dude, it's really hard to pin down just that one person who's just that much better than everybody else. Because it's like,
yeah,
you know, what if we put Roy against X person? You know, who knows what would have been the outcome? You know what I mean? That's the thing.
Yeah.
And there's multiple factors, especially when it comes to fighting, dude. There's multiple factors. Meaning weight, you know, mental, everything goes out of it. You know, experience, you know, just at that point in your time, what you have over the other person. Like, it's just like, it's so fucking hard. At least for me, for any, like, combat sport to, like, put someone against someone else. Because it's like, how the fuck do I, like, even do that? You know? Because it's legitimately hard. It really is.
Yeah.
What would happen if I put Wilder and I gave him prime Mike Tyson? You know, like, what the fuck would happen? You know what I mean? Like, who knows what happened?
Yeah, I get your point.
Like, we could say, oh, maybe first round would go like this, maybe it'd go like that, you know, whatever. Maybe he'd get this sort of plan. We'll never know. Never fucking know. That's the one. I think if there's no, and like I said, it applies to every sport. You can't put someone in, you know, X situation. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
Pretty cool if you could though, but we can't. Like, I'd love to fucking just drop Prime Jordan in this timeline and see how he does against LeBron, but we can't do that. You know? It is what it is. I'd love to drop Prime Gary Payton now. Put him in front of Curry, see how he does against, you know, if he can defend him. But can't do that either. So I'll just have to live with that.
Yeah, I also have a controversial opinion about stuff like that. I've always said that players now are better than players in the past. I think that argument kind of goes away in, like, certain sports. I think baseball's one. But I think in, like, football, basketball, boxing, MMA, the new breed beats the old breed. Just in terms of people have gotten better, our athletics have gotten better, the way we manage our bodies is better. In basketball, the entire style of play has changed.
And that applies to all sports, too. Every sport changes. Every sport evolves. Every sport gets a new tactic.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Like I said, you can sit here hours and hours, and then, like, you just never know. Because there's probably that one generational guy who probably would succeed now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And we just don't know. I think that's why we just idolize people instead. I'll always wonder myself. You know, something maybe one day we'll develop some sort of technology that will allow us to do that, but we don't now. But if we do, we should patent that shit.
It could be like the last Rocky movie, where like they drop Prime Rocky Balboa into a simulation against Antonio Tarver.
All I'm saying is Prime Rocky Balboa would kick anybody's ass in this timeline.
100%.
And my man Apollo Creed would too. It's just because that Russian was pumped up on those drugs.
He was on the shit that makes your head grow.
He was on the gear.
The gear. I feel like we spent the last 15 minutes talking about something that's not even actual, like, topics that we have.
But it is what it is. Shit happens, man. But, you know, we got through most of the agenda. We made it to this point of the podcast, right? So we're doing something right.
Yeah. Do we even want to... We can real quickly get back into our topics, just because there's not really anything left. We could just wrap up with those.
Mm-hmm.
Sound good?
That sounds great.
Alright, PBC has a card tonight. Chris Arreola, Adam Kwiatkowski. I really don't know anybody that's going to pick Chris Arreola. I'd love to know anybody's rationale for picking
There's
him.
one guy out there. You know there's one guy out
There's
there.
always one dude. There's always one dude. There's always one, even if it's contrarian, to pick someone. I'm gonna pick Kwiatkowski via dominating decision. I really don't see. Chris Arreola is 38, he lost to all the people that were good in his prime. He was never the best heavyweight even in his prime. Now, to be fair, he did fight in the Klitschko era, but still, he lost to Bermain Stavern twice. And
like I said,
that
man survived Deontay Wilder. I'm still gonna say that.
He did, and that's why I'm gonna say that Kwiatkowski's gonna take him to a decision. Otherwise, I'd pick Kwiatkowski via knockout.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
So, same page here?
Oh yeah.
Kwiatkowski via decision.
Actually, let me go on DraftKings right now and put my bet down for Chris.
We are not sponsored by them. Don't give him credit.
Oh fuck! Cut that out. Cut it out. Cut it out. Cut it out. God damn it! I didn't think about that.
No.
We have to delete the podcast now.
Now we just got to delete the whole thing. Darn it.
God damn it. Well, sorry guys.
Yeah, but anyway, so before that undercard, Marcus Brown, Jean Pascal, my man Pascal, taking a lot of damage in his career, lost to Kovalev twice, lost to Bernard Hopkins, lost to Carl Froch. I really don't see him having much, given the much damage that he's having in his career. He's 36 now. I'm gonna take Marcus Brown to beat him.
I like your predictions out here, Josh.
You like my predictions out here? I believe it's kind of a straightforward card. They also had Andre Berto on the undercard, but he dropped out.
Aww.
He did drop out. He's facing some dude who's like a can who I can't even remember his name. But I'm a big Andre Berto fan. He's like a really cool dude. I saw that whenever he fought Floyd, I watched all of his interviews, and he seems like a really chill dude.
That's cool.
His brother's also like an MMA fighter, and he's like, yeah, I want to get into MMA someday. Don't know when. He trains in it. Cause his dad ran some sort of martial arts school growing up. So he did all the martial arts growing up. He just went into boxing, and his brother went into MMA.
Oh, yeah. That's cool. I like that. Man, that really wraps it up, doesn't it?
That does wrap it up.
Can you tell me about Target, Josh?
I can tell you about Target, because Target is one of the greatest stores today. Doesn't matter if you're buying online, you're buying a store, you know it's quality with good prices. Target is one of our sponsors, helps you bring a quality podcast each and every single week. If you go to the link on a Podbean page, help support us. Target. Expect more, pay less. Normally, at this point, we'll probably talk really quickly about the big three, just because I keep up with it. Angel sort of does too. There was only 3 games last week, and none of them were significant. The Ball Hogs dropped to 0-6. Somebody please get Brian Scalabrine some help. Joe Johnson got pulled for the first time in a game. He got to sit on the bench because he was dominating, and it was a ridiculous game. So that's kind of the only substance out of last week, because 3 teams were on bye. Yeah. So I guess that kind of wraps it up.
All I'm saying is Nate's on his way back. He's making his return in Chicago.
He's making his return today, actually.
Yep.
On CBS. So if you guys want to watch that. If you guys want to watch us at Courtside Soundoff on YouTube, on the Podbean, you guys already know everything. Courtside Sound 1 on Twitter. We're most active. I'm at Josh Evanoff. I'll be writing up the main card for your UFC Newark today. Main event, co-main, NASCAR fight. I'll be tweeting along also. Angel, he'll do his stuff on Twitter. Occasionally posts. Not really. Mostly just retweet memes. Anyways, it's at Angel Ortega _Owen. And I guess that's all for us. Thank you guys for listening as always. So peace and butt crease. Mouse click.